there's lots of geopolitical tensions happening around the world, and we saw what impact that has on food prices, on fuel prices, whether it's the Russian war in Ukraine affecting grain prices dramatically. It's causing inflation across the African continent and making things so unaffordable. And of course, it creates a huge debt burden. We're also seeing on our doorstep here in the region, in Israel as well. How closely are you watching these events? Because when these events happen, it has a spillover economically, and it takes our eye off the ball in terms of achieving our climate goals.
Well, COVID pandemic, the war in Ukraine, what's happening in Gaza and Israel, all these are really unfortunate situations, especially in a world where we are facing a climate catastrophe. And what has it done to us? Increase the prices of fertilizer, increase the prices of grain. Cost of living is a challenge. And cost, a ripple effect on what we already are facing, the effects of climate change. And therefore, we would do a lot well if we were, as human beings, be able to think about how do we resolve these issues? How do we deal with the challenges of conflict? In the particular situation, I don't think there is any justification for any loss of life. For example, in Kenya, we have suffered the brunt of struggle for independence, the same way the Palestinians are doing. We have also suffered the challenge of terrorism, the same way Hamas visited terrorism on Israel. Both are wrong. We need to find a solution that respects human sanctity of human life. And I think the sooner we get to a table and discuss these issues, we can never get a solution through the power or the barrel of the gun. I think we need to resolve these issues because it's hurting us. It is hurting those of us in the global south. Yeah. And the one thing I would want to say that the globe must listen to us is it is not possible anymore to do something at the corner and expect that it doesn't affect other parts of the world. Yeah. Just the same way, we have a huge demographic dividend in Africa. We have big population of young people, learned, creative, innovative. Unless we have inclusive growth, either we invest in exploiting renewable assets that are in abundance in our continent, use it to grow, to smelt bauxite, use it to add value to our iron ore, create jobs in our continent, you will never stop the wave of migration. It doesn't matter how high walls you build. Yeah. It doesn't matter what regulations on immigration you put. It's an exercise in futility. We have a global village. We have one home we share. We better live together because this is what it is.
Mr. President.
And that is why we have walked away
a round of applause
from the North versus South issue, because we have one world and we need to realize that that's what it is.
There's no real decision and sort of headway made by COP28. What do you think African leaders should be doing?
With what I see, renewable energy is 75% cheaper than the alternative.
Yeah.
We can supply energy to the 600 million Africans who do not have it. 30% cheaper if we focus on renewable energy. The challenge we have at the moment is that you need 40% more to invest initially. And that is what becomes an impediment. And then number two, we have the challenge of what I told you, concessionary resources that are not available. And number three, we have the challenge of private money or markets that are rating Africa unfairly. So if we were to eliminate these challenges, it is perfectly the right choice to pursue our development using renewable energy. And we do not have to exploit the other resources, because if we can do it with clean energy, explain to me Why would we want to use energy that is not clean, energy that damages our climate, especially for us who are suffering the brunt of climate change? Kenya, for example, we lost 2.5 million heads of livestock.
Yeah.
In the Horn of Africa, we lost 9.5 million heads of livestock between Kenya, Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia. Do we really want to go there?
No, yeah.
You know, so we must step up, and we must be candid with ourselves. It may look cheaper today to exploit the other sources of energy, but at what cost?
A huge cost for future generations at the least. We are in a climate emergency.